dried sage. Look at that beautiful, it's like a grayish. It's a real pretty color. I have not used this color very much, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. But the plan is to get it on here, get a couple of smooth coats. I'll show you how to do it. And then we're gonna go in with the new stencil. And I'm actually gonna use Voodoo Gel Stain to stencil. I'm gonna go with a lighter color and I'm gonna use White Magic. So, all right, before I brush, or before I paint, I wet my brush just a little bit. It doesn't need to be dripping. Just spritz it with some water. There's no dripping. Just spritz it with some water. And then I'm gonna get about this much, okay? I'm gonna have my water bottle handy. Even though this is the base coat, I still may spritz with water. And the reason is because if you're putting on really thin layers of paint, almost like dry brushing, if you spritz with water, it'll prolong your paint a little bit. You don't want to just come in and try to get one coat and just call it good. You want to do thin layers. You don't need a whole lot of paint. You really don't. Because if you put one big glob on here and one big thick coat of paint, it could easily give you some trouble. First of all, if somebody nicks it, I mean, I'm telling you, if you like glob it on there, if somebody like hits it, nicks it with the wrong thing, the paint's just gonna come right off. It don't matter how good it doesn't matter how good, like what kind of primer or whatever that you use. I mean, if it's on there too thick, it's gonna chip. If your kid hits it with their little match car or whatever, you got to do thin layers. That is key for a smooth, flawless finish. I did a series in the World of Chalk Paint group less than a year ago. If you guys aren't members, definitely join. But I took one 8-ounce jar, the smallest jar of paint, and I did white at that, which is the hardest color to paint with, to show you how far the paint will go. And I got a medium-sized French provincial dresser done. I got the mirror that goes with it done. I got a very, very large square coffee table done. I did large wooden letters that are about, well, we'll just say if it's flipped, about this tall, 6 of them, spelled my daughter's name out, Olivia. And then I got half of a tabletop easel done. And that's how much 8 ounces got me in white. So that's the key though. This is exactly how I taught it in that group, was just really thin layers. I'm gonna scoot y'all back just a little bit. And we'll get this on this one little leg here. We're just gonna focus on this one side. Now, also, when you do the thin layers like this and you're using your water, like on a live right now, like I'm gonna heat gun it. If you had it on too thick and then you heat gunned it, it messes with the self-leveling process, because Dixie Belle paint is self-leveling. But if you have it on too thick and then you heat gun it, for one, it's not going to dry properly. And two, it's going to set those brush strokes that you have. It's going to set it in your paint. And you're going to have to go in and sand and do all the things, get your finishing pad or sanding sponge, whichever one you want to, use. You're just causing extra work for yourself. So just keep that in mind. I'm here to educate and give the tips today. All right, get this little leg done. If you don't let your slick stick set all of the way also, and it's not completely dry, when you go to paint, like if I was using a black right now and my slick stick hadn't been dried, it would pull some of that white and you'd see a little bit of white come off. That's what's really important about letting it sit for that 24 hours, not only to let it do its job, but if you don't, it's gonna come off with your paint a little bit. I found that out the hard way. The very first time I used Slick Stick was on a piece that I was painting navy. I didn't let it dry. I thought, oh, it's gonna be okay. I heat gunned it and thought, nah, I'm good to go. You gotta let it do its job. All right, so I've got a really thin layer on here, and I can actually bring y'all in and show you real quick before I heat gun it that it's pretty smooth because I've used a lot of water. Not a lot of water, but you know, I've used water to apply it. And you can see the coverage is actually quite good. There might be, yeah, there's a couple little spots that I missed, but let me see if I can get a good angle to show you guys how smooth this is. Once again, I'm tangled up. Imagine that. See if I can just roll you over here. I don't know if y'all can see very well, but it's pretty smooth. And look at the coverage. Tell you what, I really don't like doing this, but I'll take you off from this side. You see how smooth that is? It's a very smooth finish. Hardly any brush strokes at all. Okay. All right, let me heat gun this real quick. I'm gonna spray my brush with some water so it doesn't dry out on me. And we'll go in with our second coat and we'll do some stenciling. I'm dying to use these new stencils, or this one. I've already used one, but this won't take long because the coats are so thin. All right, that's good. Because we're focusing on this one panel here. Another thing you can tell is, how you can tell your paint is dry is it's not cold anymore. It's like room temperature. Now, even though I just heat gun this, I didn't use a whole lot of heat on it. I'm feeling it and it's not hot, but it's not cold either, which means my paint's dry. So that's another tip for you as well. All right, let's go in with our second coat. This time, I've already wet my brush pretty good. I'm gonna wet it again. Now you got two options. You can spray your piece and then go in with your paint, or you can dip your paint in, your brush into your paint and then spray your brush. Either way, you got some water on there. You're essentially just kind of thinning it down just a little bit. Is essentially what you're doing. All right, so we're gonna get this on. Initially, that's all she wrote. See how pretty and shiny and sparkly that is for my ring light? It's very smooth. It's a very smooth finish. Okay, so now what I do, once I'm done with my brush, and I know I'm gonna use it again, but it's gonna be a hot minute. I'll just take it and spray it with vinegar water. And then I will just wrap it up in a baby wipe or a wet shop towel. Keeps it nice and moist so it doesn't dry up, or you can stick it in a baggie, whatever. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon to get notified when new videos are posted. Also, I typically put out a blog to show how I finish these pieces of furniture. If you head on over to my website, thepurpleposy.com, and sign up for the mailing list, you'll get notified when those blogs are posted as well.